Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for tuning in. We have a very interesting show to my super chat. Well, first of all, Luke St. Martin, Eric H526, the two best moderators in all of YouTube. Thank you for being amazing moderators. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to explain the psychology or the logic or the irrational, absurd, ludicrous thought process that goes into the notion, the fantasy that President Trump won't be running. Well, he is running, but will drop out because of poll numbers. First of all, to my super chat, thank you. Thank you for your support. Number one, there is no way that President Trump isn't going to be, first of all, there's no way he's not going to be reelected. So let's just start there. President Trump's going to be reelected. So we can start with that first and foremost. President Trump will be reelected. And Biden has no chance. The polls are completely worthless. They're as accurate as they were when Clinton was supposed to win or could have won Texas. Polls were saying that Clinton could win Texas. So that didn't happen. Luke St. Martin, hello. Eric H526, hello. Let's start with the GOP operatives. So we have GOP operatives that have stated, well, President Trump is fuming and seething because of poll numbers. This is absurd. He doesn't care about poll numbers. If he did, he wouldn't even have run for president. 538 was saying in 2015, and NPR quoted me alongside 538 in a paragraph. I said Clinton would lose swing states. They said Trump wouldn't be GOP nominee. According to polls, President Trump wouldn't be GOP nominee. Do you understand, ladies and gentlemen, what that means? According to poll numbers, he wouldn't even be the nominee, much less win the presidency. Tell me what they've been right about. I want to know, I'm not right about everything. I haven't been right about everything, but I've been spot on most of the things that I've stated would happen. Tell me what, the Washington Post, the New York Times, MSNBC, what have they been right about? They said that Trump wouldn't be GOP nominee. He became nominee. They said he wouldn't win the presidency. He won the presidency. They said he worked with Russia. He never worked with Russia. They said impeachment would derail his presidency. Impeachment didn't do anything to his presidency. They're saying now that he's on the ropes. He's not on the ropes. They're saying now that Biden's going to be nominee. No, Hillary Clinton's going to be nominee. She's the only chance Democrats have. She's absolutely the only chance Democrats have. And so they lose miserably with Biden. They lose, if you could say, they have a respectable showing with Clinton because they're not outspending Trump 2-1. They won the popular vote. They might not even win the popular vote this year. If it's Biden, then it's not going to be Biden. It'll be Hillary Clinton. But if they were completely inept enough to go with Biden because they're so delusional, they have such contempt for Trump, they don't see, they can't see reality. So they've convinced themselves that anything is better than President Trump. And so, there's no way, there's absolutely no way, for many reasons, that Biden could defeat Trump. Mainly in terms of voter enthusiasm, there's zero enthusiasm. Zero enthusiasm for Biden. So you're not going to get voter turnout. He's also not going to outspend Trump 2-1. He also doesn't have Gary Johnson taking 4.5 million votes. But why would Trump resign when he has consistently proved the doubters and the skeptics wrong? Why would he resign? There's no reason. There's no reason. There's absolutely no reason why he would resign. And so you have, oh, well, the Russians were up to this. And that's why he signed a deal in that country to bring Americans home. Notice how what was it, Marco Rubio today and other Republicans are like, oh, well, Trump, the Russians and they were putting money for, well, then why don't you remove Americans from that conflict forever? See, the way Democrats and Republicans think is, well, we should stay there, but we should fight the Russians for them helping those people, which is what we did when they were there. Okay? Which is exactly what we did when they were there. We should bring Americans home tomorrow. And President Trump has set the foundation for that. He signed a deal in late February, early March. But see, the thought process is so warped. The way they think is the following. Well, we need to stay there. Why do we need to stay there? It's been 20 years. You want to stay there another 20 years? If you cannot leave after 20 years or even after 2 years or 1 year, we should not leave Americans there forever. This is not Germany or Japan. And even Germany will bring home Americans from Germany. So they're not going with Biden. It's an all virtual DNC. They're going to go with Hillary Clinton. I will have made the biggest political call of all time. But they're completely inept. They are completely inept. And they think that with every statue torn down and with every protest and with that this bolsters Democratic Party support. Democrats, by and large, are basically establishment Republicans that are socially liberal. This is pretty much, that's why Republicans and Democrats are two sides of the same coin generally. Now, I'm voting for President Trump because he's basically recreating or he's changed the Republican Party forever. He has around a 90% approval rating within the Republican Party, but again, President Trump is not Mitt Romney. He's not John McCain. He's not Marco Rubio. He's not an establishment type that is going to keep Americans in conflicts forever. He does not have an interventionist foreign policy. This is why the main reason I'm voting for President Trump. In addition to the fact that he doesn't care about what the intelligence community leaks to the media. Why would I care? Like, how many articles did you read about President Obama not listening to the intelligence community? What do I care about? So there's intelligence says this, intelligence says that. Who are these people? Who are these? Because they're not the chiefs. They're not the intel chiefs that President Trump pretty much. So he appointed the intelligence chiefs, most of them almost all of, I believe all of them right now. Plus he has Ratcliffe, he had Richard Grinnell, he has Ratcliffe as his ODNI. He's pretty much wrestled control away from Democrats of the intelligence community. So where is media getting, like, where are media and pundits and all these people, where are they getting this information? Sources say that Intel briefed Trump on what Russia was doing in a region of the world we're going to get out of. So what is it like? If you ask Marco Rubio or Nancy Pelosi, they'll say, well, we need to stay there. If you ask the average person on Twitter on the left, they won't care. They won't care. They won't realize that we need to leave. We need to leave that part of the world forever. You cannot utilize the United States military in that manner. We're not peacekeepers. We're not the world police. And this is what President Trump has stated time and again. okay, the establishment Republicans running ads against Trump, this is the reason Trump won. Trump is like this. President Trump is like this, like comic book superhero, but to the left, it's like this super villain. But it's like he has this power. I think it was Rogue in the X-Men. Rogue, Rogue has the involuntary ability to absorb and sometimes also remove the memories, physical strength, and superpowers of anybody she touches. Rogue always had the best powers. Her and Kitty Pryde being able to go through solid objects. It's pretty awesome. But anyway, and I love Colossus. He's my favorite. And Wolverine. Anyway. President Trump is like Rogue. Like, Kierman 100, keep up the great work. Mago 2020, thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. Karen Man 2020, Karen Man 100, thank you. Karen Man 100, thank you so very, very much. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. But, like, thank you very much, Karen Man 100. Greatly appreciated. Anything they do to Trump, anything they do is, like, pretty much useless. They can't stop him. And like I said yesterday, the only thing that if he needs to calm down on Twitter. You cannot retweet, any absurd tweet from now until the election. You can't do that. Because even if you delete it, even if you didn't hear it, even if the person within the video is acting sarcastically, which that's what 100% what took place, they're going to spin and create their own reality. See, Democrats run on emotion. The only thing that they're running on is pure emotion. It's like a drug for them. It's like a narcotic. They feed off that. That gives them enthusiasm. Now, it's not enough to generate voter turnout, but it's enough to prop up a failed political party. Okay? And you cannot give them the enthusiasm they lack if you're President Trump. He can't fall into these traps. And I think one of my amazing subscribers yesterday said something brilliant. She said that right now he's running against himself, which is true. President Trump is the Usain Bolt of politics. He's running against himself. Do Re Mi Music Honolulu. It was evangelicals that got Trump in office. Gotta give great where it's due. It was evangelicals that got Trump in office. Well, they overwhelmingly voted for President Trump. Do Re Mi Music Honolulu. Thank you. Mr. C never joined Twitter. It's a complete waste of time. I agree with you. Do Re Mi Music Honolulu. Thank you as always. Thank you as always for watching. Thank you as always. Do Re Mi Music Honolulu. Karen Man 100. Thank you. Thank you. Dragon Model. Hello. But ladies and gentlemen, President Trump, the only person who could defeat Trump is Trump. And the funny thing is, guess what happens if Clinton wins this year? Guess what happens? Trump can run again. So he can run again. And he can run again. Grover Cleveland, the only president without the only two non-consecutive terms. So Grover Cleveland is the only president with two terms that were not consecutive. Grover Cleveland. And it could be President Trump. I don't think Trump's going to lose at all. He's in the driver's seat. He's in the driver's seat. But, I mean, you have this, ladies and gentlemen, you have this hilarious. They're doing this to themselves again because Democrats, by and large, Doug Barnhart, Could Trump write a bunch of executive orders in regard to voter ID and voter integrity right before the election and make them fight in court on short notice? I don't think he could. Perhaps he could. No, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think he would. Whether he could is possible. He definitely would not do that because it would be pandemonium. I don't think that he would do that. Whether he could, possibly. Doug, whether he would do that, he will not. Whether he could, possibly. Thank you, Doug. As always, thank you. Diane Stewart. Hey, HA, keep up the good work. Trump 2020. Exactly. Thank you, Diane Stewart. Thank you. Thank you, Diane. Thank you very much. Doug, thank you again. But, like, you look at the news, and people are saying, well, Trump's on the ropes. He's not on the ropes. There's no reason for him to be on the ropes. Okay, this is what it would take for President Trump to lose the election. He would have to go up against a charismatic, inspiring candidate that can articulate his vision for the next 4 years in a manner that all Americans, even conservatives, agree with. Okay, one reason Bernie Sanders, who's now a human doormat for the Democratic Party, one reason that he was doing so well in 2016, a lot better than he was in 2020. When I was writing in The Hill, The Huffington Post, and Salon, when the Washington Post called me the unofficial scribe of Sanders' most hardcore voters, and the Huffington Post called me the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet, long before Rose Twitter and anarchist Twitter and all took over the Bernie movement, which is now a gigantic bowel movement. Split in two by Elizabeth Warren. Enjoy the visual. Bernie had crossover appeal, meaning conservatives liked him. He never talked about socialism in 2016. Old school dad, man. HE, tell me one thing the D's are running on besides not Trump. That's it. They're not running on anything else. They're not running on anything else. Old school dad, man. They're not running on anything else. This is the thing. Look, you don't pick a wife or a husband. You don't choose a wife or a husband and say, honey, you are the least horrible person I've ever met. I just want to tell you, you are the most not disgusting person. You are the least of a whole bunch of bad choices. Is that nice, honey? You don't go to a car dealership and say, you know what, I want a car that will break down the least. Life is not about that. You don't go, Karen, hello. You don't go, this shirt makes me look only kind of ugly, as opposed to other shirts that make me look really ugly. So I'm going to buy this shirt. No one looks at life from the Democratic Party vantage point of the lesser of two choices. Democrats live in a very sad and pathetic paradigm where they look and they say, well, Trump is the embodiment of everything heinous. So if Trump is the embodiment of everything heinous, why don't you go find, a career criminal, put him up against Trump, and he'll defeat Trump? JR Gull, thank you. Thank you, JR, thank you. But no one thinks that way. And nobody looks at life the way in the corrupt and buffoons in the corrupt buffoons in the intel community. Like, oh, well, we've been right not since Pearl Harbor, intelligence failure, Bay of Pigs, Gulf of Tonkin, Bush's failed foreign policy, Jimmy Carter's failed, everything, failed intelligence reports during the 80s, and then didn't predict the fall of the Berlin Wall. Doug Barnard, you don't tug on Superman's cape. Exactly. Doug, thank you. Diane Stewart, But the intelligence community were highly to moderately confident. We're highly to moderately confident that Russia wanted Trump. Well, we're highly to moderately confident that they infiltrated the DNC. Well, is that how you live life? Honey, do you love me? I'm highly to moderately confident. But such judgments might be wrong. That possibly. Is that a yes? Do you live life this way? Who lives life? The Democrats live in a everything's relative. Everything's relative. They get caught in the if Biden says something like he looks and communicates like an exhumed body, and he looks like a cadaver that had plastic surgery and Botox injections. And this is the person that's going to wrestle control of the executive branch away from President Trump. President Trump would eat him alive, whatever is left of him that's still alive. Oh, come on, man. You know come on. Are you talking about the Burisma, man? Oh, come on, man. Are you talking about the Tara Reid, man? Come on, man. Oh, come on, man. Are you talking about a failed NATO intervention, man? You're talking about me working with segregationists, man? Come on, man. And you know the deal, man. Nobody is like... If my life revolves around winning the Super Bowl and the coach puts in Jerry Nadler at quarterback, I wouldn't deceive myself and say, well, he did lose some weight and, he knows the offense. I wouldn't say this. So the way they think is that anyone could Biden, if they prop him up, if they propped up Biden and he was just like, Captain Pike, where it was just his head, like the original Star Trek. Hold on, Pike, Star Trek. It was just his head on like a robot, like fictional portrayed by Jeffrey Hunter. The pilot episode where it's just his, like they just prop his head up on a machine. Like they would say, well, obviously he's better. I mean, who would vote for Trump? About 63 to 65 million people would. Good luck with the popular vote. Good luck with an all-virtual convention that nobody's going to watch. First of all, if Biden is the nominee at the convention, then Clinton will take it the day after, or a week after, a month after. Do you understand? I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop predicting Clinton because it's going to be her. A day before the ballot, they're going to reprint the ballots. It's going to be Clinton. Watch. So there will never be a time where I'm like, God, I think they're going to go with Biden. That'll never happen. Never, ever, 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 ever happen. They're not going with Biden. Because then Trump wins by a landslide. When they say that Biden's up by 8, they're reinforcing their own absurd sensibilities. They're reinforcing like Trump's response to the pandemic. He's not directly... Okay, the people who are directly responsible for the citizens of their states are governors and mayors. Governors and mayors. 5 states, 5 Democratic-run states have over half of the lives lost. So, I don't know how they do it, but they eventually will go with Hillary Clinton. And again, nobody's going to care. Like initially, oh my God, who could have predicted this? It'll be the biggest political prediction of all time, but the only chance... See, this is the thing. Clinton could win only if Trump sabotages his own campaign. So a week before the election, if he goes ahead and retweets something he shouldn't, which is horrendous, I condemn his retweets. Do you condemn his retweets? Yes, I condemn his retweets. Do you condemn what Biden says? No, compared to Trump, he's so much better. So they don't. They ask for you to. What was it when I was on the left? Disavow. I never gave a vow to anything anyone ever said. Anyway, do you disavow this? Like, who are these people who stand in judgment? The biggest imbeciles. The biggest imbeciles stand in judgment. This is why when they lose again, the arrogance won't leave. Like, well, it was the Russians. The Russians still influence the election. They'll never give up. So that's why they just have to keep losing. And then the Supreme Court, if that happens, it'll be, 6-3. They'll still be arrogant. They'll never, ever, ever stop being arrogant, and they'll never admit that they've been wrong on everything. Every single thing they've been wrong on. Every single thing. He didn't work with Russia. He was GOP nominee. We can go on forever. He didn't withhold military assistance because he was so afraid of Biden. No, Biden was corrupt and needed to be investigated. That's different from... That's even President Zelensky and President Poroshenko, they said, nah, he didn't tie anything. He just asked, based on logic and reason, he said, hey, is this person corrupt? And everyone said, yeah, he very much is. The Democratic Party, this is what they've done, okay? The appeal to authority, they live their lives. They live their entire lives based on what is referred to as an appeal to authority. Do-re-mi music, Honolulu. Trump is poster boy. Thank you, Do-re-mi music, Honolulu. Thank you. Thank you. Do-re-mi music, Honolulu. Thank you. The Democratic Party lives their lives by accusing Trump, making arguments against Trump based on appeals to authority. Now, that's not really an argument that always works. It's oftentimes a logical fallacy. You can't just, if you want to say, well, the majority of doctors feel one way, I guess you could kind of say that, but you could, but see, the thing is, well, foreign policy experts say, these are the same people who said that, we'd be greeted as liberators and that, Intel said this and that, which it formed the basis of Bush's failed foreign policy that is never ending. So if your appeal to authority is predicated upon people you view to be experts that aren't experts, or like an Intel community that's always wrong, then you're basing your argument upon the viewpoints of people who are always wrong. They're always wrong. When have they been right? When can you say, wow, the Intel community was really right? This is fantastic. The Bay of Pigs was a fantastic success. Bush's failed quagmires forever, never ending, was based on really sound evidence. And then you have, the best thing about it is that, like, John Brennan's like, I don't do evidence, I do intelligence. I don't do evidence. Wow, that's so deep. That must, you mean you don't even know what you're talking about, but we have to listen to you? Wow, that's really deep. So, the appeal to authority, they can't possibly say that Biden inspires people. He stands for, this profound change. He's going to bring home Americans from never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts, which is what Trump is doing, which is what President Trump set the groundwork for with the deal that he signed in February and early March. And don't expect publications like The Nation or Mother Jones or anything to care. They don't care. They don't care at all. They used to care in the 70s about that type of stuff, but not anymore. Maybe the 80s too. Maybe even the early 90s, but something happened. The never-ending military conflict is not part of the left any longer. Ending it is not part of the left's value system. They view words. Words. Democrats run and like liberal ideology or Democratic Party, the philosophy of the Democratic Party revolves around words and imagery and symbols that elicit emotion. That's it. Words, imagery, symbols, euphemisms, anything that they can utilize to get away from reality, as far away from reality as possible. Because all they have is an appeal to authority or an appeal to emotion or appeal to some lofty ideal that they don't stand for, but they pretend to uphold. And so when you ask basic questions like, well, why was George Floyd murdered in Minneapolis, a Democratic-run state in a Democratic city? They don't even ask those questions. Like, well, why are 5 Democratic-run states, why do they have well over half of the lives lost and cases from the pandemic? Well, they don't ask those questions at all. They don't care. They don't care. If they can make it a red state issue, they definitely will. Ronald Foose, exactly. They're good at it only because they're good at it only because they have the media like completely as not just on their side. The media is basically like they're basically activists at this point. Kristen J, hello. But it's not going to work. Like, okay, their lives are predicated upon disliking Trump. My life is not predicated upon disliking Clinton. I actually would, I will be euphoric. It'll be euphoria on this channel and H.A. Goodman's other channel, and we'll see what I'll do. Maybe I come back to Bizarro World Goodman, who knows. But when Clinton becomes nominee, nobody will be happier on the planet than me. But their lives revolve around contempt for Trump, twisting everything he does, making everything he does into this subliminal and this undercurrent and this surreptitious manner of communicating to really horrible people who then propel him to the presidency. Meanwhile, when he signs the First Step Act, when he signs legislation to fund historically black colleges and universities, $225 million, I believe, when he's the first president to sign an executive order combating anti-Semitism, which is rampant on college campuses, nobody says, well, he knew what he was doing. Well, what was he doing then? When he presided over record low black and Latino unemployment and record low unemployment, he said, Agent Pepsi, hello. They said, well, it started under President Obama. Well, how is that a rebuttal to President Trump not being this racist, horrible person? How on earth is that a rebuttal? Well, he's just well, why would he sign legislation helping minority groups? Why? If he's racist, you would think he wouldn't do that. But there's no basic logic. There's no critical thinking. Everything is predicated upon emotion. You say the word, there are about 5 or 6 or 7 words. Russian interference, dog whistling, which is what Clinton did all throughout running against President Obama, which, that's a case study in how Democrats get away with everything. She literally utilized endless racism from a 3 a.m. ad to, spreading a photo of President Obama at that point in African attire to try to convince people he had a different religion, all of these things. And he wasn't born here. That started with Clinton. It was wrong when President Trump was repeating it, but that started with Madam Secretary. So you have But they get away with everything. And the thing is, like, there are about 5 or 6 euphemisms and words that they obsess over. And if Trump can do something like he retweets like a tweet that he didn't see, or like he couldn't hear, whatever, was taking place, because, sometimes when you retweet something, you just can't, like, now you can hear it, but often, like, I don't have Twitter. If you see anyone on Twitter, please report them to Twitter and take screenshots and report them to Twitter, because they're breaking the law, impersonating me, which is, you can't impersonate people on Twitter, but what they do basically is they say, well, Trump did something, and whereas we can't really get him on, because like he deleted the tweet, which would mean that he didn't really hear what was said. Well, no, he knew what he was doing, and he was doing this, and he was speaking to horrible, bigoted people. And he said, but people on both sides are good people. He was talking about conservatives who wanted to keep statues up. There are also Democrats who want to keep statues up, but they're cowardly and they don't say anything. And, but then, oh my God, he was speaking to the horrible Tiki Torch monsters, and, that's what he was really doing. And, we know what he was doing. He knows what he was doing. He knows what he was doing. But he never knows what he was doing when something good takes place. Record low unemployment. It was by accident. Everything is an accident. Everything he does that's good, it's an accident. They never give him credit for anything he does. They never gave him a chance. They never give him credit. And they say, well, here's a reality. He had a reality show. We're going to make this presidency sensational. We're going to sensationalize everything. We're going to make everything into this reality show. And eventually people will be tired and they'll want a good Democrat eventually, a good Republican. Don't you love people are making Biden into like this decent? He's decent. He has empathy. Really? Why don't you ask Tara Reid? Oh, well, what about Trump? Well, wait a second now. You have a value system that stated you believe without any skepticism. But when it comes to Democrats, then there's skepticism. So, Russian interference, bad, except when you buy a Steele dossier. So every major issue that they obsess over and pontificate upon, when they're caught in the act, or when it's them, oh, well, you know what? It's okay. It's okay. So, I mean, you have, let's just read that article. We'll get in. I'm finally 40 minutes in. We'll read the article. They want Trump to drop out. GOP operatives. These GOP operatives failed at preventing a Trump presidency. So why would they be accurate now? These are people who didn't want President Trump. These are people who didn't want President Trump. Why on earth would they be accurate? So then you have report, Bob Woodward talked out of exposing Brett Kavanaugh. Oh, he was talked out of it, don't you know? He was talked out of it because so anything that they can't prove, they say, well, they would have proven had they actually been allowed to speak. So now they're even moving further away from reality. So why is your argument on the side? Why is your argument truthful? Why are you right? Well, my claim is correct based on what could have taken place had I been allowed to give the information. Wow. That's fantastic. This is The Hill. GOP operatives raising possibility Trump could drop out. of race if polls don't rebound. That's because the polls were so accurate, and he so believes the polls. Whitey Cat 7, thank you. Greatly appreciated. Thank you. I mean, the thing is, it's really hilarious. Like, a Fox News report on Sunday said GOP operatives are for the first time raising the possibility that President Trump won because he doesn't listen to GOP operatives. He's not really a Republican. That's the funny thing about President Trump. He's not really a Republican. He is, but he's not really a Republican. I should say he's not a traditional Republican. That's why he's doing so well. Also, take it from somebody, if you are a Republican, you're watching this channel, and God bless you, take it from somebody who's not a Democrat or a Republican, but was a Democrat my entire life up until, 2 years ago. The establishment Republicans in a presidential election, or even in a presidential election, an establishment Republican will never again win because they're not going to have the media, and what they did to Trump, they'll try to do to an establishment Republican, and Republicans by and large are petrified of the media, petrified, because they don't have the ability to ignore, and they don't have the ability to ignore the critics like President Trump does, or condemn, or mock the people trying to condemn him. Like, President Trump has the ability to turn the media, he decides the media narrative. Trump does, not the media. Trump decides. So he writes a tweet, or he retweets like yesterday, which he shouldn't have, because that's self-defeating. But generally he does, he manipulates the media into doing exactly what he wants. And when he can't do that, he then just fights back, he goes directly against whatever media narrative. An establishment Republican cannot do that. They can't do that. They don't have enough success in terms of policies to do that. So, they just can't do that. If you had Jeb Bush versus Clinton, he would lose miserably. Miserably. If you had Marco Rubio or Ted Cruz or Jeb Bush or any establishment Republican, Clinton would easily. Biden could probably defeat. I say probably, because then it would still be a toss-up. But Biden could probably defeat an establishment Republican. But there's nobody in the Democratic Party. Look, in 2016, there was a moment in time that Bernie Sanders could have won. But see, that's under the premise that Democrats actually are a viable political party. If they were a viable political party, then they would have rallied around whatever lightning in a bottle Bernie Sanders had at that moment. But as we know, he was cheated. We know this because Russia wanted us to know, remember? So, E-Boat! Damn criminals committing elder abuse against Biden, just like damn governors, nursing homes, par for the course. Exactly. E-Boat, thank you, pretty much. E-Boat, thank you, pretty much. William R. Abrams, Trump has the magic wand. He does. I have the magic wand too, William. Although I don't know if too many people have seen it. Actually, unfortunately, many people have seen it. E-Boat, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely taking one for the team. That ain't gonna... That charade is going to end. It's going to be Hillary Clinton. She'll take it, and I'm telling you, when she becomes nominee, it's going to be tough for Trump. I'm telling you she could win. She can't win because she's electable. She could only win if President Trump sabotages his own campaign. So he has to watch out, because he no doubt has a whole bunch of establishment Republicans around him who want nothing more than to undermine his campaign. E-Bode, thank you. Hidden for time. I am a Mitt Romney Republican. I'm always looking in a mirror. Hidden for time. Thank you. Hidden for time. E-Bode. Thank you again, sir. Thank you. You look at what the wonderful governor of New York did. What a great governor. How they get away with everything, it's unbelievable. How they get away with everything. I'm a Mitt Romney Republican. I put my dog on my roof rack and drive across country. Or drive to Canada. Like, it's pretty every day. Hold on, let's do. I really need to do a countdown. I really need a countdown. Okay, so days until November 3rd. 127 days. I gotta do this on H.A. Goodman's other channel. Oh, you know what? Oh my God, maybe my Bizarro World channel will be named Days Until November 3rd. Oh my God, maybe I'll do that. There's 127 days until November 3rd. 127 days. Democrats, enjoy whatever political and public relations or political influence you have left. Because it's not going to be Trump. See, this is another thing Democrats don't realize. Because I was a lifelong Democrat. I was on the far left, which... Where was Rose Twitter when I was writing? Well, a lot of them were reading my writing. But anyway, that didn't exist in 2016. But anyway, the problems that they'll face have nothing to do with Trump. November 4th, it's going to be, you're the reason, no, you're the reason, no, you're the reason, no, you're the reason. It's not going to be Trump. They're not going to worry about, they're not going to initially, November 5th, 6th, 7th, maybe. They'll be like, oh my God, the horror. 100 days until the election. H.A. Goodman, days until Eric H526. Six, yes. H.A. Goodman's days until the election. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, I like that. Eric H526. I think I have found, oh my God, I think I found the name. And then I can incorporate, oh my God. Yes. Eric H526. Thank you. Luke St. Martin. Thank you. Oh my God, this is fantastic. Countdown. And when they lose again. Oh my God, it's going to be so amazing. They're going to be... Can you imagine? Can you imagine what they're going to say? Or how they're going to react? You didn't like her personality! Oh, now you'll have Trump! Ah! Can you imagine the married couples? You know what? Not tonight. Not for the next 4 years. Oh, honey. I voted for Clinton. What do you want from me? You said you didn't like her. That doesn't mean I still voted for her. It's that type of negativity that put Trump in office for 8 years. That's it. I'm calling a divorce lawyer. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be fantastic. Again? I have a headache. It's a Trump headache. It's a Trump headache for 4 years. It's going to be awesome. Oh my God! And then you're gonna get the public service announcements. We just want to let you know I started in a sitcom in the '90s, and I'm very disappointed you in America. Very disappointed in you. I am too. I started in a sitcom in the '80s. I am too. I did a movie in the '70s. I am also. America, you stink. America, you stink. America, you stink. Oh, I'm just so upset with you. 8 more years of Trump. You need to do some soul searching. Soul searching, America. Soul searching. Look in the mirror, America. Look in the mirror. I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy with what you did to our country. I hope you're happy. Yeah, we're happy. We're very happy. Very, very happy. You have no idea how happy. Very happy, very happy, very happy. I love Alan Alda, by the way. I love him. So that's funny. Like, you're gonna get the public service announcements. You know, the best will be the admonishment from the reprimand from the liberal stations. Congratulations, women. Congratulations, this group and that group. Just to let you know, 53% of you voted for Trump. Again. So this means that you have co-signed and you have bolstered every bad thing he ever did. So therefore, you are everything bad he ever did. Congratulations, America. It's going to be great. Oh, my God. You're not going to have Gary Johnson, you imbeciles on the left. That's 4.5 million votes. 4.5 million votes. 4.5 million votes. And the Democrats don't understand something because I'm like not in between two worlds. I know that world and I know the Republican world also. I'm a Trump supporter. If President Trump's not there, I might sit out in the election in 2024. I don't know. I'm not voting for anyone. If like I would never vote for Marco Rubio ever. Well, no, never. I mean, I want the Second Amendment. You know, I don't want, but I'm not going to vote for anyone who's going to send Americans off into interventionist foreign policy. But I'm voting for President Trump because he's awesome. And he's not been given a fair chance by Democrats, and the hyperbole is just too much. The Democrats live in this hyperbolic, absurd world. Well, you know, I'd fight them too. You're not fighting them. You are not. This was a supremacist rally. No, it was Normandy. You don't know anything about history, do you? You never read a history book in your life. You don't have anything. Context is meaningless to you, isn't it? It will be so amazing. Do you understand how amazing it's going to be? It's going to be so amazing. Thank you, Shelley. Thank you, Shelley. Thank you, everybody. Be here on November 3rd. It is going 127 days. I'm going to do a segment on HA. Okay. I'm changing the name of it. That's it. Eric H526. I'm changing the name of it. And it's going to be H.A. Goodman's Days Until November 3rd channel. Oh, my God. We have 127 days. 127 days. Oh, my God. Oh, my God, please. The meltdown will be so... It'll be amazing. See, this is the thing. If President Trump were to lose, God forbid, wouldn't be the end of the world for me. It wouldn't be the end of the world for me because Democrats don't really govern. They don't really know how to govern. Just look at New York, or look at any Democratic-run state. See how they're doing. So it would be an absolute Bandini. Like it would be 4 years of them trying to prop up and trying to, and so my voice, or anyone's voice looking at it from a critical perspective, would be like, okay, needed. But I don't want that to happen. President Trump's going to win. The only way he loses is if he sabotages his own campaign, or if people within his campaign sabotage his campaign. So, William R. Abrams III. I hope the election is like the Legend of Billie Jean. Ferris William R. Abrams III. Thank you, Jimbo. How will you cover November 3rd? I'm going to have very likely an upload and about 3 long live streams. And I'll have a live stream as the oh my God, I'm getting like, anxious right now as the votes trickle in. So who is this? Auto 8000. I'll do a lot of oh man, that's funny. Auto 8000, hello. That's funny. I am gonna just it's gonna be amazing. It's going to be amazing. It is going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. Just for the next 10 minutes, if you want to leave, I understand. I'm just going to say it's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. It will be amazing. And then they're going to try to can you imagine TikTok? I still can't, I don't even really know what the heck it is, but it seems a lot better than Twitter, although the left is, again, utilizing that for political purposes, which is even more bizarre. The amount of emotion, the amount of emotion, the level of emotion that they've poured into this is astounding. It's kind of like if you tell a kicker in football to kick the ball, and they need to make a 50-yard field goal. That's a lot of, or maybe a 53-yard field goal. That's a lot of pressure with a second left in the Super Bowl. So, I mean, the pressure is not on President Trump because he can run again. So you got to also think of it that way. Okay? Grover Cleveland. Non-consecutive terms. Only president to have non-consecutive terms. Two non-consecutive terms. So, their nightmare's still there. Either way, if they don't win, the nightmare is beyond. It's Freddy Krueger in the kitchen with you for 4 years. Hi, Freddy. Oh, no. It's like Jason, Freddy Krueger, The Exorcist. Basically, you're living with The Exorcist for 4 years if you're a Democrat. With the pea soup flying at you, which is what they think happens if you don't wear the mask. Jimbo, it's going to be live streams. It's going to be I'm getting anxious but you know what? I mean, the amount of positive emotions, and I say positive, to be inspired is a positive emotion, is a positive sentiment. You need to have positivity to be inspired. President Trump inspires voters to reverse failed foreign policy, to address trade imbalances, to sign the First Step Act, to go up and seek justice for crimes committed by very, very corrupt intelligence officials. Trump the poltergeist. Jimbo! Trump the poltergeist. Yes. It'll be the orange ghost. The orange specter. But, Eric H526, I think it's like the scariest movie to me is The Exorcist. I can watch Friday the 13th in a haunted house at 2 a.m. myself. And I'd be like, but The Exorcist that's scary to me. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll do 5 more minutes. I'm having fun. It's always fun. You have to understand the future of the Democratic Party rests upon November 3rd, which is why they're going to go with Clinton again. And it's going to be amazing. They're not going with Biden. Biden is like trying to weather the stormy seas up until the By the way, nobody's going to be at that convention. It'll be virtual. So Biden, his track record on anything digital or virtual, it's like if you taught PowerPoint to somebody in 1999, even that type of person would do better than the way Biden has less than a couple hundred people on his live streams. So I don't know what they're thinking. So the DNC convention, nobody's going to. It's all virtual. That's not his strong suit. They're definitely going to go with Clinton because that's the only chance they have. Everyone will tune in around the world. Around the world when Clinton accepts that nomination. Who knows what happens? Maybe he takes off his clothes and streaks down Pennsylvania Avenue. And believe me, they would say it's a positive thing. Oh, well, Biden, he really showed himself, literally. And, he showed that he wasn't old after all. He was streaking down. But you know what? People, it's fine. Valerie! Dems have no future. Pretty much. So if you look, Dem convention is all digital. But let's just look at Biden. Type in Biden. Biden tells donors, I'm going to get rid of most of Trump's tax cuts. Okay, well, there you go. Okay, so... Let's see. I'm trying to look right now. Ladies and gentlemen, be here in... I'll be here at 11 p.m. sharp. 11 p.m. Pacific. So... Valerie, thank you. 11 p.m. Pacific, everybody. Be here at 11 p.m. Pacific, ladies and gentlemen. And to my super chat, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, let's see, the S&P 500, I was just reading an article. If the S&P 500 rebounds more, then President Trump's going to win. And it'll rebound more. Ladies and gentlemen, 11 p.m. Pacific, I'll be here. Check out H.A. Goodman's other channel right this second. I'm going to start, I think Eric H526 is right. It's going to be H.A. Goodman's days left until November 3rd election channel. All right, ladies and gentlemen, give me give me until 11 p.m. Pacific to my super chat. Thank you. God bless you, everybody. Have a great evening. Thanks, everybody. Thanks a lot. See you soon. Subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel if you want to support my voice long term.